AI is not going to take the job of someone who is an advisor. It potentially can take the job of someone who is just an entry level bookkeeper. But if your goal is to be an advisor, learning through the process, which is, how Anna and I started, AI is not going to replace that.
As professionals, you have to evolve and to take the opportunities. I mean, there is not one single client that I can look at in our client role that AI could do better than we do. It's impossible.
Welcome to Deduct This, powered by ProConnect Tax. This is where tax professionals come together to share ideas, experiences, and fresh perspectives to help you grow your practice and your future. We're glad you're here. Let's get started.
Hi, and welcome to this next episode of Deduct This with Carrie and Lexi. I'm Carrie.
And I'm Lexi. Today, I'm so excited. We have special guests, and we are talking about something that every firm owner dreams about, but very few have actually figured out. How to build a successful accounting practice without burning out your team. Welcome, guys.
Hey there.
I'm excited. So our guests today have done exactly that. After decades in working in traditional films, they launched their own practice in 2023 with a clear mission to put people first. Best mission ever, by the way. Between the two of y'all, you've had about 60 years in the profession. You bring deep experience. It sounds very long when I say it like that, so sorry. Having been in the industry for a long time. But you guys, between the two of you, have a loyal team. You have a modern philosophy on how firms should operate. So please welcome the founding principals of Hodges and Hergenrader, LLP, Anna Hergenrader and Gwen Hodges.
Hey there.
Nice to meet you. It's really good to be here today.
Welcome, ladies. Oh my gosh, we're so excited to have you. Anna, let's start with you. You have spent 22 years at your previous firm before launching a brand new practice. What led you and Gwen to make that leap?
I think it was, a lot of the industry changing and a lot of the dynamics of where our firm was that we were with before. We had various partners in different stages of their careers and things like that. And Gwen and I we've worked together for, I always say Gwen hired me at that last firm, in 2001. And so she and I had worked closely together for a really long time and were very like-minded about the things that were important to us and that type of stuff. And we both knew it seems funny to start a firm at where you are or where we were in our careers, but we both knew that we had a lot longer to work. We didn't want to go home. We didn't want to sell out. We didn't do it quickly. It was a very long period of time that we decided what we were going to do, how we were going to do it, and it just felt like the natural next step for us together.
I love that. You guys. I've heard about this for years, and I've seen this. Lexi and I've talked about this, where people you find your people when you work together. And I love when people move to the next place and they're like, I know that I work so amazing with this person. So I love that you guys had that experience and you guys were able to kind of move on to your own firm. So let's move over to you, Gwen. So again, you've worked decades at your former firm. So for you, what made this the right moment to start something new?
I think it was more wanting to have deeper relationships with our clients. I say that is my favorite piece of what we do, is being able to work with them. And, having worked with them for, decades now, you do learn a lot about them, but being able to give them what they need to forward their business, to make their business better, that just, it seemed to be a lot more on brand for where we wanted to go versus just compliance. So we were doing just a lot of compliance previously.
That's great.
Gosh, that's like so ahead of the time.
Into the thing. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and so ahead of the time because now that's all the buzz now, right? Like compliance is handled. I mean, as we move with all the new technology, and so that's like all the buzz right now is advisory and like what else can you give your clients? So you guys were way ahead of the time. So that's awesome.
I also think part of it was we went to some different conferences that kind of, we saw there were other people like us, we got ideas, and it was very helpful to make us believe we could actually do this too.
That's amazing. So being so ahead of the times, being so different and forward thinking and being kind of the leaders in that space, So you currently have 7 staff members, 3 of whom have worked with you guys for many years, 10 to 20 years, I think. How have you experienced having that trust, and how did that shape your first few years? Like bringing over the right people and having that mindset, and how did you do that? And then how has that shaped your firm?
I think that Gwen is very much a people person. It doesn't matter what she is doing. She can be up to her ears in something that's difficult. And when a client calls, she puts it all down. She stops. She does it for anybody that's ever worked with her too. I mean, she still talks to people that she hired, 20, 30 years ago. That is her very, very strong suit within our firm. And then and those people in those relationships, they it was important to us when we started this new firm that those were the core pieces. And so we've never hired from ads or anything like that. It's always been people that we have worked with in the past, and not necessarily, someone that we just worked with. It may, there's someone that we is on our, that I worked with when I started at our last firm, but she went off and did her own thing for a really long time. But we've always kept in contact. When you have very strong, knowledgeable, intelligent people that do what we do, you keep up those contacts, and then sometimes things just align. And we were in a really good place where those things, when we were deciding to do what we were doing, it just kind of aligned for our very educated, very experienced staff to come with us at that same point. And then the other people that have come, that are with us now, again, they're people that we knew or people that were recommended to us. That type of thing. So we've never just hired. We've always known that person would fit, or that person was had the same values that we did before they became a part of the team.
I have a question on that. So I love that. And you're right. Like sometimes it's not even just the skill set, or like the actual job skill set. It's like having the go-getter, having that trust, the loyalty, the thought leadership. So have you guys taken people and actually molded them to what you need from like a professional skill set for your firm? And you're like, they have what I need. I'm going to teach them this trade or whatever. Have you guys done that?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think you see something in people, and sometimes what they can be before they know it.
True.
Sometimes they want different skill sets, so we've got a little, bit of both. But yeah, for sure. Definitely, I guess, empowering people to be, leaders as well one day. That's kind of, what I think we want our vision to be, because we'd love for our firm to continue.
You can teach people how to do a tax return. You can't teach people how to care about what they're doing. You can't teach people how to know that client's important, and that they don't like this type of thing, and that these things are really important. You can see that. We've always said, if you're going to interview somebody and see if they're going to work, you naturally know within a couple of minutes
100%.
whether they're going to fit on your team or not. So I would tell you that we go for those attributes in people more so than we do, how quickly can they get a trial balance in? How great are they on software? Those kind of things. I think it's the personal things. The other things we all learn, and things change, and tax laws change, and we all have to learn, and we have to pivot, and we have to do those things. But I think it's the person that they are. And I think that's what makes our team so strong.
It's the soft skills, right? That there's, it's almost like
all day.
I used to always equate, this is terrible, I'll probably get in trouble for this somewhere, but I used to kind of equate when you would interview people, it's almost like speed dating. Within minutes, if there is a there with somebody, there's almost this non-tangible feeling that you get when you feel someone's sort of hustle and mindset and willingness to almost grit something out. And I agree. You can teach people, the fundamentals of a skill set or of a job, right? That are like, do this, add this, move this here, etc. But you can't always teach people how to, it sounds silly, have eye contact, really listen to what your clients are saying and trying to understand where they're coming from, as opposed to always talking and whatnot. What is that? You know, you have 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason, right? Like use your ratios. But there's different things like that you know when you meet somebody, right? And so I love that you guys had that. And you know, one of the things that we keep seeing in the industry, Alexia and I go to a lot of conferences, we talk to a ton of people, and there is a severe talent shortage in the industry, right? A lot of people are retiring out of this industry. Luckily, there are some new kids that are starting to go to college and come into it, but there is a little bit of a mismatch of what is happening right now. And you know, how do you guys take technology? I guess you guys didn't have to go hire through Indeed and these different things, but how do you guys think about technology and deciding like what to automate and what to stay human? Like where's that balance for you guys?
Well, I think that sometimes there's just certain things that you need people for. I mean, there's certain things you need people for. Anna is really good at the automation piece of it and trying to make sure that, you know, all the software is aligned. I mean, that's one of her really big, strong attributes at our firm that I admire. And just trying to make sure that things work together. But you also need the people so that they do work together, because you can't do them if you don't have the people that can recognize that there's an issue.
You're never going to take the people out of. I know that you know, all the buzz right now is, you know, AI, and it's going to do all of the things that accountants can do. And I mean, there is not one single client that I can look at in our client role that AI could do better than we do. It's impossible. Because I mean, those 1040s that you just scan it all in and it goes into the tax return, we don't do that because there's no value for us in that. And because, you know, a client like that should be able to find someone that can do that tax return at a very reasonable rate for them. There's no planning in there. There's no tax strategy in there, that type of thing. Our clients and the relationships that we've built is because we know all of their pieces. You know, if you know, some of our clients have 15 you know, mortgage interest statements. You're not going to scan that into AI and that all end up in the same place. Even if it is learned, that tax return, you know, some of it is investment interest, some of it goes on this rental property, some of it is a HELOC and they can't take. There's not I mean, I understand, and thank goodness the computer softwares are learning and they're helping us with the things that you don't have to use your brain for. But there will always be a place for people that are good at running the technologies and getting the information in the right place and talking to the clients. There will always be an extraordinary place for that. Our industry, there is so much just security, job security in our industry right now, and it's wonderful. And there are so many clients that need help. I mean, we just kind of have the whole road in front of us to be able to use this AI and use all of these really cool new things that are happening in our industry to our advantage to make us better and to make our product that we sell to our clients better.
Exactly. Yeah. You said that's perfect. Like, it's the technology paired with the human aspect, because there is a peace of mind when your accountant says stamp of approval. There is a relief. And you know what I mean? Like, so that peace of mind, I don't think, but it's exactly what you said. The power of the two together is just going to be, it already is. It's changing the game. Go ahead, Carrie. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say, you know, we talk about this a lot, and I love that you touched on that. And I agree. It is the human element plus the AI, but there's a lot of buzz right now that people are scared. People are scared that, you know, especially in your industry, that the people are going to be removed by the computer essentially. And so, you know, obviously there are pieces that you just talked about with the, you know, you have some very, very complicated clients and things like that. But I think there's even more than that. Like, so what would you say to people who are absolutely terrified that AI is taking their job? What would you say to them?
I mean, I think that AI is not going to take the job of someone who is an advisor. You know, it potentially can take the job of someone who is just an entry level, you know, bookkeeper. But if your goal is to be an advisor, you know, learning through the process, which is, you know, how Anna and I started. I mean, you learn, you know, over time. AI is not going to replace that, but it can replace the lower level work, which is what
you have to evolve. I mean, you have to, you know, as professionals, as professionals, you have to evolve and to take the opportunities. Gwen loves the different communities and being in, she likes to do Gwen, how do you like say how the things that she really loves the different groups that are
Like
available within
connecting,
our
like the
industry.
peer-to-peer connection and learn
Yes,
from
Yes.
each other.
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Yes. And so we end up at a lot of these conferences, or we end up, in some of these spaces where we're learning about things that other firms are doing. And while she's enjoying that piece and finding the right communities that our firms have things in common with, I love the pieces that, well, they said something about this product, or they said something about this software that they're using. And I've kind of heard something about that before. And like when we were at Intuit Connect, we had been doing a lot of the things that Intuit Connect kind of they were publicizing and they're drilling down into more, but we learned a lot of really cool things. And then we learned about this new product that I quite honestly don't know what we would do without. I mean, quite honestly, all of our clients have ChatGPT. All of our clients have asked ChatGPT the question before they have emailed us. Of course they did. That's the smart thing to do. Our clients are, I mean, if you're going to have a client for 20 or 30 years, it's because they're good business people and they've managed to stay in business for all of that time. So they're savvy individuals. So they come to us for things that they can't get out of ChatGPT. We have to be better than that. So we use, CoCounsel uses, it has, it's got access to a lot of things that our clients can't get on ChatGPT. But then we can use those references and we know, well, it does fit them in that place because of this, but it doesn't fit them in this place because of this. And it doesn't count here because these are passive, these are passive activities and that's not going to work for them there. And, but we learn about, because of the things that Gwen likes and because of the things that we like, and because we're open-minded and realize that AI is coming. You can act like it's not coming. You can say, I'm not going to learn that. When you do that, you're going to get passed by the firm that's a block down the street that's using it. It's not a great idea.
Absolutely. And you guys have already made the shift. You've already had the strategic decision that you don't accept standalone individual returns. You've kind of touched on this a little bit, but like, talk to me about like, what is the ideal client that you guys have or go after and things like that?
I mean, our typical client that we would love to have is a small business, either that's just starting or is in existence. It doesn't really matter to us, but small to medium-sized business, and that typically means closely held. So an S corporation, partnership,
Right.
that kind of thing.
Not in revenue, not small in revenue, but small in, their activity.
Yeah, yeah. And then someone who needs bookkeeping, they need tax returns, they need advisory, someone who needs payroll, they need all of the pieces. And then we love to service them monthly. And we try to work in a team of 3 with these clients. And we find that, when you introduce that from the beginning, that's very helpful for them. But being able to work with those people, and one of the things that I guess is close to my heart is when someone that you're working with like that says, nobody's ever talked to me this way. Like, somebody's just always done my tax return. Mm-hmm. I never knew any of this. And they've been in business for, 10, 15 years. It's not crazy to me because I know where they came from. Mm-hmm. But it like opens something inside. Like, it just makes you feel like you're doing the right thing. And then, when they say your invoice is the first invoice we want to pay because you're the most important person we talk to, like that, there's just a feeling that you get from that. And being able to service people in that way, I just feel like that's just the best way to service them.
Gwen, it's so funny. That just resonated so much with me. I just switched my accountant this year and mm-hmm. I paid, full transparency, I paid triple what I paid last year. I would pay. Don't you be listening?
She's listening to this right now.
Yeah, I know, right? The experience, next to none. Like I felt the exact same way. It was worth every dollar, and so I'm smiling because I literally just went through that last week, and it was a game changer. And so I feel like a lot of professionals are like, oh, like, I don't think they put value in that enough. And so then they undervalue themselves. And it was just mind blowing to see the difference of someone who actually does care, someone who is looking at all the things to help you personally out and your family. So anyway, I just have to say that because I literally just went through that, and it's been a game changer.
As business people, we look for, even when Gwen and I make decisions, you look for a return on their investment. When we looked at that product, at that AI product, you're looking at investing and spending your money on something, and you look for, is that going to give us a return? Are we going to be able to increase our revenue? Or are we going to be able to decrease our expenses or our time? Our clients are looking at the same thing for us. They want to know, they don't mind, smart people don't mind paying for something, but we make sure that the 1099s are done. We make sure that their property tax listings are done. I don't know about y'all, but in North Carolina, the counties have people driving around, and looking at people's, offices that are full of all these things and seeing if they're filing, property tax listings. We make sure that all of those compliance things are handled and that all of the boxes are checked and all of the things are doing. So they're saving in penalties, interest, tax, saving strategy. They're saving financially.
And
what they're
emotionally.
what they're paying
tax.
us. Yes.
Yeah, like that anxiety. Oh, what's it going to look like this year? Like after, like they already took that away from me. It's become a pleasure. And let me be clear, even for someone who works in tax, like doing my own taxes is not a pleasure. But now I'm like, oh, they got it. I trust her.
Yeah.
Right.
I think that's
Right.
I love that. And she literally called me and texted me multiple times about this experience. So she's being very honest about how amazing she felt about it. But let's talk about, the philosophy of advisory. How do you guys have it? Is it almost formulaic, or is it one-off for your clients? Do you guys have quarterly check-ins? Tell me about how you guys manage these type of relationships for such nuanced and difficult firms. I mean, you guys have hotels and construction companies, restaurants. So I can imagine there's a ton of moving parts at all times. So how do you guys manage making sure you do understand the nuances and the specifics of each of those different clients so that they do feel that rapport that Lexi was just talking about?
I think even though we have a brand new firm, our client relationships are very long. It's 20 years and it's 30 years. And we learned how to handle these clients. And I think that Gwen and I are both very, very strong in that if a client came to us that we had no knowledge of their industry, it would not be a good fit. We are not at the place in our careers where we can learn. 15, 20 years ago, we could have been able to learn. We had more time. So the partner that was, that had brought the client in, they may not know a lot about that, but we had a lot of time to learn about that. I learned about hotels and I learned about renovations and I learned about all of those things early on with that client. And now those clients have been clients for a really long time. And now we can do other things and service them in different ways, but we try not to dance around in place. That is a very fast way to get yourself in trouble. Mm-hmm. You cannot do everything. You need to be and because we have these relationships and these really long-term, we've got all this time with these clients, we know what we're doing. We will take on new business clients that we feel comfortable servicing. I think, as tax professionals, you have to be very, very careful about doing things that you do not know how to do. Our field is broad. We work with a handful of tax lawyers I work with some that every time I hang up the phone with them, they are the smartest people that I know. But they are the smartest people that I know because they only do that and they are really good at it. And I don't know how to do those things. So we use them as a reference. Gwen and I try to stay in our lane and do the things that we know how to do. That's important because, these things can get really big, and trying to do things that you don't know how to do, I think can be very dangerous.
Yeah.
Going deep on what you know. I think it's amazing, right? Because then you can translate that, right? So if you have 3 construction companies, it's not probably hard to take on another one because you know the nuances of what they're going to experience. You know what questions to ask, or, almost find the bodies, right? Like, did you do this, this, and this? Because I know my other clients have that, right? So there's a lot of firms that are
that are, and there's a lot of podcasts and things like that about, finding your niche and staying in that. And I think that's fabulous if you're wanting to scale and you're wanting to do that type of thing. But Gwen and I have a broad array of clients that we have to service. So I think, while it would be great to be able to kind of to niche and to go off that way, it doesn't really work within the staff that we have now, within the client base that we have now. So we're really trying to do things and offer a better value and grow the services that we give to our clients now, within what we're good at and what we've been doing for a long time.
Okay, yeah. Shifting gears, we are fully in season. What is it? February 13th, which is crazy. I can't believe it's already mid-February. Pros are heads down. They are stressed out. They're working so many hours. I mean, let's be real, right? But we also hear, and Carrie and I have interviewed and had great conversations with so many firms that they're not stressed out. In fact, there's some on vacation right now. There are some who are like, I'm locked and loaded for the season. Like, I'm going to go to my other house. We got people in Mexico right now that are on the beach. So you guys have a similar philosophy. You have a policy about overtime, and you've put this into effect. It's almost unheard of still, although we are starting to hear this more. How did you make the decision to do that, and how do you hold those boundaries?
Well, one of the ways that we hold the boundary is we communicate to the client up front. Today is our cutoff date for businesses to have information to us. So we have a March 15th cutoff date and a April 15th cutoff date. And we just, we hold to those boundaries. And that, our staff trusts that, we have them, we're using them. Our clients see them, they'll say, oh, I got to hurry and get my stuff into you this week. I've talked to a couple, so they also, realize that they do, hold water and mean something. And I think that when I started in my career, it was the landscape was way different than it is now. And it was just nose down, do as much as you can, as hard as you can, for as many hours as you can. And I did it as hard as I could for a very long time. And, I had children. I missed a lot of things with them just because of the way that I was working. And one of our big things is Anna and I did not want someone else to have to make the sacrifices that we felt like we made from a family standpoint. And so it was very important to us to set those boundaries. And by being intentional about the clients that we take, when we service them, how we service them, our team trusts that, when we say there will be no overtime, and we tell them, if you have to work overtime, you have to talk to us. We need to know why,
That's wonderful.
We want an open line of communication. Mm-hmm. So we feel like we've set the boundaries and feel really good that our staff also, the whole team knows what that means and how important it is to us. Mm-hmm. We've expressed it multiple times.
That's amazing. So, yeah. How do you go about that then? How do you get everything? Is it so setting boundaries with, like you said, setting boundaries mm-hmm. with the clients, so therefore they hit the deadlines, mm-hmm. then it gives you the allocated time to do that. What happens? Let's be real. I'm sure you have clients that come in after. What do you say?
We do.
We have some that we say, I'm sorry you missed the cutoff. We have some that we, get done anyways. Probably we're going to have enough time to be able to get the ones done and a few extra ones, mm-hmm. So it's not like we just don't do any other work. I don't know a better way to say it. Can you think of a better way to say it, Anna?
I think, I've had a couple of clients call me this week because this is our deadline that we've communicated. And they've said, one called the other day and she's like, my husband is just all to pieces because we're not going to have, I said, look, I appreciate you calling. You have a pass-through entity. There's not going to be, we'll get you an extension. We'll finish your pass-through entity, in time to get it, done with your personal return. We've got, plenty of time. It really was just, that cutoff date is more so for you to make that phone call and say, hey, we know that the date is today. Are we still okay? Yes. And now I know that they're going to get their stuff in, soon, and we can plan. The biggest piece is just like your income tax return. It's, you can't get rid of the tax. We can't get rid of the work, but you can plan, and you can make sure that the staff has got time. You can make sure that if this person is overloaded, that we can move it to this person. We can, it's all in just communicating with your people, communicating with your clients, and making sure that you're staying ahead of that. We missed out on a lot early in our careers. I have a 15-year-old and a 13-year-old. We have people that work for us that have, they've got college kids, they've got grown kids, they've got 4-year-olds, they've got all of the things. Every place in your life is important. And we work and we do the things that we do, not because that's the greatest thing in the whole world. We enjoy it, and it provides for our life and for our family and for the things that are important to us outside of our firm. And, our clients, we're really lucky in that we've worked with these clients for a really long time. They respect that. I've gotten to where I have to turn off, if I'm emailing late in the evening, I have to turn it off to where it doesn't say, or it sends in the morning, because the clients really kind of get upset. They're like, I hate that you were working on this at 11 o'clock at night. And I'm like, no, don't worry. I was working at it, at 11 o'clock at night because, I went to my daughter's practice, that was, I did,
exactly.
And we want our staff to have the same flexibility and to be able to do the same things. And because we've been intentional about the way we do things, we're really, really lucky in that everybody that works with us trusts us, our clients trust us, and we can maneuver together. Gwen and I work overtime, but Gwen and I work overtime more so because all of the client work that is during tax season, you can't also do the administrative work for the firm in the same amount of hours. So it's a choice. So it's a choice that we enjoy doing because we love what we do, and we're building something and it feels good and it's providing for we enjoy it. So, but they really have not. I mean, we kind of try to stay on top of it and make sure that nobody's having to work like that. And I mean,
amazing.
We're in our third tax season, so I don't know. It's worked so far, but we'll see. We'll see.
That's awesome.
And I think having the clients bring, work on their things and have them up to date when tax season starts, that's the biggest piece.
Mm-hmm.
It's just making sure that, they're up to date. We're not trying to go back and do a bunch of old things. That just helps.
Yeah.
Well, and it seems like through the communication, not only with your staff, but with your clients, I love that they called up and they were like, listen, I know that we're supposed to have it in by this date, but here's the situation. But just having communication, being intentional, and understanding, again, where those boundaries are. People, if you give people roles, it's kind of like with children, right? Like if they understand where they can play within, then people tend to like to stay that. Like it feels good to understand where the boundaries are. And again, you guys, it's your firm. So working overtime, you guys have made that choice and things like that. And I'm loving seeing this trend more and more, specifically in this industry, because it was notorious that people worked 80 to 100 hours, or more a week for months and months. That's not good for your family. It's not good for your health. It's not good for all of it. And I love that we're starting to see this shift of we don't have to do that any longer to still be successful and really good at our jobs. And that is such a mind shift change that has happened. And I think it's to the benefit of everybody, quite frankly.
Yes.
Your clients, your staff, for everything. And so I think I applaud you ladies for making that foundational to your firm. And bringing that to, again, your staff. So I think that's amazing. So, one last question one of the things that we love to ask, and, we talked at Intuit Connect, and we love to ask people about their emoji, and it's just kind of a fun little thing. I'm a big emoji girl. I like the one that does this, like that. I don't even know what it's supposed to be, but it makes me happy every time I send it. And I'm kind of a jazz hands kind of girl. So that, now that we're in tax season, so I know that you guys said it used to be the dread and the kind of the wiping of the brow. Like, what is it this year? Like, what are you thinking about? What would be your emoji to explain kind of where you're at right now?
I mean, I think the one that I like to use the most is the star. Like, I just feel like we're shining bright and ready to go. So that one is the one that I think I probably use the most, and kind of how I actually feel.
Love it.
I love that.
Yeah. I think we kind of like, this is the first tax season that we have gone into where we really felt like we were ready. we were like, it's kind of like, bring it on. Like, come on, let's go already. We're ready. Let's get started. All of that. I mean, we really were, when January kind of rolled around, that first week or so of January, we were like, we got to get this stuff going. It's time. Yeah. I mean, we've been ready.
I'm so happy for you guys. We wish you so much success, and just thank you so much for your sharing your story. It's so inspiring. There's so many people listening out there that want to do the same thing that you guys have done, and it's a great roadmap and path. So thank you so much for your time today. We really enjoyed it. We'll have to have you guys back.
Thank you, guys.
Thank
we appreciate
you.
it.
Thank you. All right, so this wraps up this episode of Deduct This. You can learn more about Hodges and Hergenrader LLP in the show notes and everything about them if you want to get a hold of them. Thanks for listening, everybody.
Thanks for being part of Deduct This, powered by ProConnect Tax. If today's conversation gave you something new to think about, visit accountants.intuit.com for more insights and resources made for professionals like you. We'll be right here, helping you turn expertise into opportunity.